Good morning, welcome back to Mae Sot, Thailand. Bit of context, it is Monday, November 9th, about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm heading out for a cup of tea and a snack at the Lucky Tea Garden. The Lucky Tea Garden, or the Lucky Tea Shop. I think it was originally called the Lucky Tea Garden, and there is still a sign there that says Lucky Tea Garden. But I think they changed their name to Lucky Tea Shop officially. At least that's what it says on their menu. I know this because I did go to this place before, just one time. I went there at the end of the day that I spent with my mystery driver driving around Mae Sot. Unfortunately, on that visit, the battery on my GoPro died, so I wasn't able to film very much of my lunch at this place before. I have my GoPro all sorted out this morning, but even so, don't expect a deep dive into the cuisine of Thailand, or I should say the cuisine of Burma, because I think this is a Burmese restaurant for the most part, because I'm just going there to grab a cup of tea and a snack. And this morning I'm feeling a bit flustered for some reason. Ever since I left my guest house, I've been kind of overwhelmed by all the traffic and all the activity around me, and I don't know, I just can't seem to get my thoughts straight. I'm just sort of running into things and bumping into people and tripping over things. So my thoughts are all a bit of a jumble this morning. Hopefully a good cup of tea at the Lucky Tea Garden will sort me out. We have reached the intersection where I turned left to go to the Lucky Tea Shop. You can see it just over there. There's a sign actually there that says Lucky Tea Shop. And then I'm pretty sure on the right side of the building, there's another sign that says Lucky Tea Garden. We'll go track those down in a minute. The main produce market in Mae Sot is just over there, short distance. And that street leads pretty much back to my guest house. So it isn't far for me to walk to come here. Another really nice day. I think we're heading into the best months to be in Thailand in terms of the weather. Not a lot of rain, and I think it's kind of the cool part of the year. 9 o'clock in the morning right now, so it is nice and cool here in Mae Sot, though judging by that sun, I think it is going to heat up a lot. There's the building over there, a bit backlit by the sun just now, so you can't see it that clearly. But it has some interesting apartments up above it. There's a stretch of yellow apartments and then some coral pink. I don't know what that color is. Series of apartments with balconies over there. I'm still, I hardly dare move this morning because I just can't pay attention to my surroundings. And every time I take a step, it feels like there's a motorcycle or a truck or a tuk-tuk or something about to run into me. We can get a slightly better look at the place here. So this is the outside, and you can see the guy here making bread, and he has an oven there, making naan, roti. And right behind him, you can see the sign that says Lucky Tea Garden. And up above, those are the apartments I was talking about with the balconies. The yellow ones, and then coral pink, and more yellow ones down there. I was wondering how busy it was going to be this morning. There he is. Got the oven hard at work. Interesting how these work. Oh, I thought maybe Looked like there was an opening on the back. I guess the only fire, yeah, is right there on the inside. I was wondering whether there was a fire around the edges as well. As with a lot of these cooking techniques you see around the world, I often end up wondering how they originated. Who was the first person who discovered that you could stick the bread to the side and it won't fall down and fall into the fire? I mean, how could that possibly happen? So yeah, I mean, it just sticks to the side and it doesn't fall off and it cooks nicely there. And when you see it, it makes sense, but who was the first person to figure that out? Who had a cylindrical oven and discovered that the bread would stick to the side? I have no idea. Well, let's head inside. My chaotic morning is continuing. I'm feeling really thrown off my game because it's actually quite noisy in here. We've got a TV playing right above me, and then they have loud music playing over the speakers. And I can't really record video when there's music playing because of a copyright. So I don't know how much. Maybe it's a good thing the TV is playing because it'll fight with the music and it'll all get drowned out, and all they'll hear, all the YouTube computers will hear is my voice. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, I sat down at a table and looking at the menu right now, and I ordered a cup of tea just to have while I'm looking at the menu. I love this tea. There's my cup of tea there, and as you stir it, you can feel the condensed milk, the sweetened, thickened condensed milk that sits at the bottom. You stir that up. I just love the color that you get because of that condensed milk and the ingredients they use, the sort of orangey brown color. And I love the flavor. There it is there. Yeah, as I said, my brain is all a jumble this morning. Hopefully this tea will sort me out. Wow. Okay, that's a sweet cup of tea, which I don't mind right now. Yeah, I think I'll be having 2 or 3 of these before I'm done. All right, let's take a quick look at the menu. I think my breakfast snacks will have me staying pretty much on this menu here, the breads, kind of. The naan bread, which the guy was out there making right now, roti, buttered naan, get an omelet, that might be nice, fried egg with the chickpeas, and they have this soft boiled egg kind of drink. And on this page, samosas, egg roti, chickpea roti, and banana roti and martabak, chicken or beef. It's been a long time since I've had a martabak. That might be good for breakfast too, though. These can be quite oily in my experience. And I like them, but you can't have them too often. It gets a little bit overpowering, the flavor, I find, because of all the oil. And then I think we're more into lunch dishes, curries, and biryanis. Tea leaf rice salad, specialty from Burma. Ginger salad, another specialty from Burma, I believe. Goat curry with white rice. Oh, that's kind of a set lunch. Chicken curry with white rice. Here they have 2 hot milk. Oh, it's a hot milk tea and hot milk coffee. Okay. And then cold teas on the back. Oh. So yeah, the naming is pretty confusing because here it really does say Lucky Tea Garden. And I guess that's how it's listed on Google Maps still. So maybe that's why they did that, as a QR code. So if you want to find it, I think this will work on your computer. You can still scan that QR code on the computer screen, and that should take you to the Google Maps location for this place. But all over the menu, it says Lucky Tea Shop. So I don't know why I'm fixating on the name. I think it was because in the last video, I got so confused about Lucky Tea Shop and Lucky Tea Garden that I kept stumbling and I had no idea what to call this place. So there's the menu for the Lucky Tea Shop. Burmese food, coffee, tea, naan, roti, biryani. All right, yeah, what to order? Let me think about this for a second. I placed an order, at least my first order. Maybe I'll have something else as well. But I did go for the fried egg with chickpeas, mainly because I think of that as kind of a Burmese thing. When I was in Myanmar, I had this kind of chickpea dish for breakfast all the time. It was part of the breakfast buffets that you would find in the hotels. And that just kind of reminds me of Myanmar. So I'm feeling nostalgic right now for Myanmar. And of course, I ordered some naan bread. I can't remember now whether I ordered the plain or buttered. And I got a banana roti, which really jumped out at me. And a second cup of tea as well. Yep. Thank you. I'm already causing confusion because I like that tea so much. I ordered a second cup of tea already, but my first one isn't even finished yet. So the poor girl was wandering all over the restaurant. Like, who ordered this tea? And she kept coming to my table, but I already had a cup of tea. So it would never made sense for anyone to have 2 cups of tea. But of course, we're talking about me here. I do things that don't make any sense. So I finally realized she was looking for me with that cup of tea. So now I have 2 cups of tea on my table. And there's my second cup of tea. We always end up with an interesting assortment of cups because they're all kind of mismatched. And here we have a bunch of chicks on the cup. But in the background, you can see where he makes all the teas and the banana roti and egg roti over there. And then all the curries and things are there by the street. And my food has started to arrive. I'm very excited. I can smell the banana wafting off of my banana roti. There it is there. Looks very good. And my fried egg with chickpea has showed up. So yeah, so basically, yeah, some fried egg and then mixed in with some chickpeas. So that's I think that'll be a nice complement to my banana roti. And then, as I said, I ordered some kind of a naan, buttered naan or regular naan. And that should be here shortly. Thank you. Ah, okay. I guess I did order the buttered naan. Here it is there. Oh, okay. It's actually, yeah, I've got the butter in the middle there, like a little pizza pie. That's very cool. So, this is my breakfast, or breakfast snack. Something I often end up thinking about, I guess it's just the way my brain works, is that wherever I am, you're surrounded by stuff, right? Like items, objects. And I always end up wondering where those objects come from. That's kind of why I was thinking about my my cup, that my tea came in. This cup came from somewhere in the world, right? There's a factory somewhere in the world that made this cup with these little chicks on it. And if you went investigating, you could probably find a whole fascinating world if you track that cup down to its source, where it's made, who made it, what country, how it got here, how these people bought it. I started thinking about that, not because of the cup, but when I was watching the guy making the naan bread in the oven, they used that special I don't even know what to call it. It's like a half circle. It's a round foam thing with a cloth over it, and they use that. What do you call that? He used that to put the roti on, and then he slaps it to the side of the oven using this thing. And as I was watching him, I was wondering, well, where does that come from? I mean, there must be a place that makes those. Is there a local place in Mae Sot that makes them? Or is there like one central factory that makes them for the whole world and everybody orders it from them? And how do they make them? Stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to take that one item and track it down to its source. Like, where does it come from and how is it made, or what is it? Like, what's inside that thing? I ended up being quite curious about that. All right, time to have breakfast. Well, we have some fairly loud music playing, so we'll see how this goes with the recording. If YouTube flags the video because of the music, you can actually look in the description, and I think you'll see a list of all the songs that were playing during the video, because the company or the computer of some big record company will recognize the song, and then they claim the whole video. They say, okay, you're playing our music, that's our video now, and then they put the name of the song in the description. This is, to be honest, the banana roti is what I was most excited about. I had this same roti when I was here with the mystery driver. Very good. It's also sweet. They drizzle a kind of sugar. Maybe that's the condensed milk as well over the top. And of course, bananas have a little bit of a sweetness to them. So it's a very pleasing thing to have for breakfast. As you may have just seen, my whole GoPro just went crashing off the table. It's kind of fitting that it would do that this morning. Because as I said, I'm just totally out of sorts this morning. I'm just clumsy and not thinking straight. And I think that is the first time I've ever dropped the GoPro in any situation. I've owned it for, I don't know, a year and a half, a year, something like that. Never ever dropped it before. That was the first time. And I was using this little tripod invention that I came up with, and what happened was the table is so slippery that as I bumped the table, the leg slid off the end of the table, and then the whole thing just sort of went over. But it survived, as far as I can tell. So now I have it clamped to the table with the jaws, so it is firmly in place now. What I was going to say is that I ordered 2 cups of tea, and the first one hit me as like overly sweet, like through the roof sweet, and this one is just right. Much nicer cup of tea. And I think what they do in a place like this is they don't measure things. They just punch a hole in the top of the condensed milk can, and then they kind of like pour it in. You know, they're just moving along, and maybe my first cup of tea just happened to get a double dose of sugar that way. Yeah, that's a much nicer one. Yeah, still enjoying my banana roti. And I don't think I'll have a whole lot to say about the chickpeas and fried egg. Nice. I just, as I said, ordered this because I think of it as a traditional Burmese breakfast dish, and kind of an unusual one. For someone like me, you wouldn't think for breakfast the first thought that pops into your head isn't, oh, chickpeas. That's what I'll have for breakfast. But it's a common thing. And I shouldn't ignore my buttered naan. Little pizza. It's good. It's about what you'd expect. There's a lot of butter in there. So if you like your butter, this will not disappoint you. My breakfast is done, and I'm just on my way out. I showed a little bit of this the last time I was here, but this is the kind of the curry station, sort of facing the street, and they have all the beef curry, mutton curry, goat curry inside all these pots. And then this is the roti and tea station, kind of where the magic happens when they make all the tea. And right through there, you can see the cans of condensed milk. It looks like they call it non-dairy creamer on that can. And you can see how they just punch a hole in the top. And when they make the tea, they just pour out through that gap and make a judgment call how much is enough. And I got one cup of tea with a lot of sugar, and then 1 cup of tea without that much. And there's the whole collection. Sweetened condensed non-dairy creamer from Palace. I can't help, of course, but think about systems. And they have that system here for payment, which I run into all the time, where nobody keeps track of anything while you're eating or ordering. That only happens in retrospect when you're all finished and it's time to pay. I always find that interesting. I ordered a whole bunch of things: 2 cups of tea, banana roti, buttered naan, fried eggs with chickpea. And I ate everything and drank everything. So there's nothing on my table but a bunch of empty plates. But when I went to settle my bill, there was no written record of what I had ordered. So the woman I went up to the counter, and then the woman had to sort of look over my shoulder and look at my table and then try to recreate my entire meal in her head based on the clues that she saw on the table. And she had to ask me for confirmation because the plate was clean. You know, I'd eaten everything. My mother taught me well. I clean my plate, especially when you have bread as part of your meal. You end up using any leftover bread to wipe down the whole plate, so there's nothing left. And she has to ask me, so was that fried egg with like chickpea? Yes, that's what that was. So we had to recreate my entire meal to figure out what I owed. But she was very nice. One kind of interesting touch was that in the middle of my meal, while I was eating, she came by to see if I wanted anything else. She came to check up on me. She says, "How is everything? Would you like anything else?" And it was such a surprise. I was kind of in shock for a second, because that's a normal process in Canada, of course, that throughout your meal, the waitress or the waiter will check back in once or maybe even twice to maybe clear away plates, refill your water glasses, see if you want to order something else. But of course, that isn't generally the norm in Asia. In Asia, the onus is on the customer, which is fine. It's just a different system, that if you want something new or something more or something done, you just signal someone to come over and then you order. They don't generally take the initiative to come see if you want something. So when she did that, came over to the table, I'm pretty sure she only does that with foreigners. And I'm also pretty sure that she spent some time in the United States or Canada or some Western country living and working there in the restaurant business perhaps. And she picked up on this habit, this practice in Western restaurants. So that was kind of interesting. Doug's quick review of the Lucky Tea Garden. 2 questions. Would I go back there again? Would I order the same thing? Would I go back? Absolutely. Love the place. There's nothing bad to say about it. Nice people, nice atmosphere, comfortable atmosphere, interesting atmosphere, good food. So yeah, A+ across the board. Love the place. Would I order the same thing for breakfast? Probably not. That was my fault. I think I ended up ordering a breakfast that was a little bit heavy on the bread and sweet side. Sweet banana roti, sweet tea, and the buttered naan was quite sweet with all of it was like they literally lathered on the margarine or butter in there. So in terms of a combination of things to order, probably not the best. So if I went back there for breakfast, I would certainly order other dishes, I think. But I kind of wanted the naan. I knew the naan was too much bread on top of the banana roti, but I'd made such a big deal about that oven where he's baking the naan. I thought I should order 1 naan at least, and I ended up with the buttered naan, which was perhaps a bit excessive. But I didn't quite realize what the buttered naan was. It's actually 2 naan on top of each other with a thick layer of butter in between, and that was a little bit overwhelming, even for me. But the food itself was good. If you know what you're ordering, everything was great. I really liked the chickpeas, actually. That was my favorite part of the breakfast. So yeah, love the place, love the food. Highly recommended. As tasty as the tea was, it didn't seem to help with my state of mind though. I still feel just as flustered. And as I've been walking down the street here, I feel like I've nearly been killed about 20 times. I need a big sign on around my neck today saying cautious. Beware of the foreigner as he stumbles around and has no idea what he's doing. It's a good thing I'm not driving a car. I think I would have crashed it by now. I don't know, I just can't seem to get my thoughts straight. I'm just sort of running into things and bumping into people and tripping over things. So